Austin Allan.
Hi, Ray.
The one, the only. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
As you can tell, maybe you can, Austin Allan is the founder and CEO of Tio Gazpacho. But you're actually the TIO, right? Aren't you?
The totally important officer.
The totally important officer. I wonder how you came up with that.
It was a late night preparing for an event, and I was trying to come up with a clever title right before, actually to put on some business cards. And I was inspired by Seth Goldman, who was the TEO of Honest Tea. So I was trying to come up with something clever, and it's stuck 3 years later.
And hopefully one day you'll reach the level of success of an Honest Tea.
I hope so.
So Tio Gazpacho, as the name probably indicates, is a bottled gazpacho product. Soup in a bottle is a pretty bleeding edge trend right now, and you're one of the pioneers of the category.
The pioneer.
Yes, the pioneer of the category. It's an impressive brand, so impressive that General Mills Incubation Unit 301 recently invested in the brand, as did a couple other companies.
A couple others. Circle Up. They have a growth fund within their platform, and then some other private investors as well.
So this is the first time we've spoken since that investment.
That is true, yeah.
How have you sort of deployed the funds at this point?
So we're developing, I've not made much secret of this, so we're developing a whole new line of products that'll still be drinkable soups. So we've invested a little bit of money into the new product line, expanding our production, purchasing some ingredients in bulk, expanding our sales efforts. So now we actually have a sales team instead of just me running around. And yeah, that's the big ticket item so far.
And it's really interesting, you know, the soup in a bottle thing is sort of indicative of these overall health trends that so many people are talking about today. You know, they want something that's going to be satiating but healthy. Yeah. And, you know, you really nailed that when you presented at New Beverage Showdown a couple of years ago, or what was that, a year and a half ago, when you won the whole thing.
Yep.
Have you seen now any advice that you would give to some of these other brands that are starting out or presenting tomorrow in the finals?
Well, I think I gave this advice to anybody I have given this advice to anybody that's ever asked, is really trying to stay true to your vision, because a lot of people will try to tell you what you should and shouldn't do and what's good and great about your product and what's terrible and what you should fix. And if you listen to everybody, your product will morph into so many different directions. So as long as you're confident that you have a really strong concept, stay true to that vision.
Now, along the same lines, I mean, you had a vision for... That was a really good announcement from Mark Mahoney. Along the same lines, you must have had a sort of vision about where your product would be on shelf and some of the places where it would be. And it's almost like this chicken and the egg thing, because that's been a bit of a challenge. You know, where do you position? Where do you merchandise a bottled soup? And, how are you approaching that? Are you saying, okay, this is where we need to be, or are you sort of letting the market kind of dictate that?
Well, that's a really good question, because initially I had a somewhat clear vision that we were going to be like a Suja or Blueprint of soup, and that we were going to sit in that same aisle and fulfill a similar need. Quickly we learned that wasn't the case, that people don't think of soup in a bottle as refreshing, as a drink. And so it has a meal usage occasion where people are purchasing it because they're hungry and they're on the go and they want something quick and refreshing and delicious but not overly processed. And so as we had these learnings and realizations, we started to change the conversation a little bit with the retailers. So instead of going in and saying, here's this product, do what you want with it, or where do you think you should put it, or where do you have space for it, we say very clearly, this is a food product, this is food in a bottle, and so don't put it with drinks, right? It's not a kombucha, it's not a coconut water, it's not a cold pressed juice. So we want it to be with other food products. So if it's a grab and go set, there's going to be a grab and go sandwich or salad that's going to sit right next to it. And if there's other soups, it would be like in a heat and eat kind of format, where like you go to Whole Foods, they have chicken noodle soup and minestrone and black bean and things like that. So we actually want to be right there next to the others, because it just pops off the shelf and people go, whoa, that's cool, I haven't seen that before.
Right.
And we're injecting some life into a category that's pretty boring.
And that includes food service opportunities as well. How are you sort of navigating that channel?
So that's something that's a brand new conversation for us. We're working with a new partner in the next couple of weeks to start launching in food service channels, possibly doing some private label, although we're not 100% sure of that, but that's on the table as well. And so that remains to be seen how that works out, but we're confident that it's going to do really well, because it's a great fit for food service.
Yeah, and now you have your newest product, which is a watermelon-based gazpacho.
Yeah, so this actually is, my first time putting my hands on it was today. It's a watermelon, cilantro, cayenne pepper gazpacho. It's brand new. It's It's
sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's great. You guys gave it a great review. So
We really liked it, actually. Not we. I'm not part of it. Look, that whole review process is very serious. I don't even know how the whole thing works, so don't come to me and complain if you have a bad review. Sorry, that was my PSA. I'm sorry. Please continue.
That's all right. No, that's all. It's our first our new line extension since actually, we launched a year and a half ago. So we're really excited to get this out there. It's going to be available in stores in probably a week or so, and it's my new favorite.
It looks like you kind of changed up your label a little bit too. I mean, you added your did you add your signature on the side of the bottles as well?
No, that's always been there.
Okay, I'm just very inattentive to these kinds of things.
No, everything's exactly the same. The only thing for this flavor, we took off the word vegetable soup because it is mostly watermelon. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One other thing I wanted to talk about was, we had talked about this HPP category a few times. I mean, it feels like the last two New Beverage Showdowns, the last two BevNet Lives, there was so much talk about HPP.
Yeah.
There was so much interest in, hey, where's it going to go? And there were so many people still getting into or using that safety method. Today, I haven't heard a heck of a lot about HPP.
Yeah.
And in fact, you started to see very, very slowly some people kind of pull away from HPP. Can you explain why that's happening? Do you have an opinion on why that's happening? Or what can you say about that?
I haven't observed it myself. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the showdown this morning, but I would imagine that it's because, HPP is becoming so commonplace that it's no longer a differentiator. So if you walk in and say, oh, guess what? I have an HPP product, there's going to be 25 other people right behind you that also have a new HPP product. So I think maybe it's a maturing. I don't think it's going away. I just think maybe it's more mature. And so it's not quite the selling point that it used to be for young brands.
Would you still rely on, you market it as cold pasteurized. That's your sort of way of describing it.
Yeah, we are committed to HPP just because the flavor of the product speaks for itself. If we were to flash pasteurize this and or add citric acid or anything else, it wouldn't taste the same. So we're really committed to HPP, and all the products that we're developing going forward will all be HPP products.
Really looking forward to seeing those products this fall?
This fall, hopefully, yep.
All right, looking forward to it. Austin.
Great to see you.
You're the man. Good to see you as well. Thanks so much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right.